The Rafale dogfight in Supreme Court. That's our top focus story. The apex court today decided not to discuss arguments on the pricing of the Rafale aircraft and instead focus on whether procedures were followed. Due process was followed in the acquisition of the 36 fighters. The petitioners told the Supreme Court that there were three issues that needed to be scrutinized. Was procedure followed? Was the offset policy followed in toto or tweaked to benefit certain individuals and entities, and the pricing of the aircraft? The Supreme Court decided to focus on the procedure and the offsets clause as of now. This was a bench headed by the Chief Justice of India, Ranjan Gogoi, and comprising Justices S.K. Kaul and K.M. Joseph. They said the price of the Rafale fighter jets will be made public only if the Supreme Court thinks it fit to be. The Attorney General K K Venugopal requested the court that the deal information submitted be protected from being leaked. The petitioners include former Union Minister Arun Shourie and lawyer and activist Prashant Bhushan. They insisted that the Narendra Modi government abruptly signed the deal to help Anil Ambani's company. They've also claimed that the price of the jets purchased by the NDA government, by the Narendra Modi government, according to them, was 40% more than what was being negotiated under the UPA government. So the Supreme Court reserved its order on the plea demanding a court-monitored investigation into the Rafale aircraft acquisition. After hearing arguments from both sides, the court asked the government to explain how Reliance was selected as an offset partner. Under India's offset policy, foreign defense entities have to spend at least 30% of the total contract value in India by procuring components or setting up research and development facilities in India. The offset clause for the Rafale deal was set at 50%. Prashant Bhushan claimed that this was done to help Anil Ambani's company and cushion investments. In 2012, the UPA government had made a deal to buy 18 Rafale aircraft in a flyaway condition from the French company Dassault Aviation, and then decided that 108 jets would be manufactured in India. Prashant Bhushan claimed that the deal was changed from 126 fighters to just 36 fighters, all of which in a flyaway condition, which defeated government's Make in India policy. Presenting the government's argument, Attorney General K K Venugopal defended Reliance selection, saying that Dassault Aviation was the one that chose Reliance as an offset partner. The government, he claimed, had no role to play in this.
देखिए, ऐसा है कि जो आरोप लगाने वाले हैं वो अनपढ़ हैं, उनको पता नहीं है कि क्या चीज़ है, इसलिए इसके बारे में ज़्यादा टिप्पणी करना ठीक नहीं।
जैसा रिलायंस का नाम आया था तो रिलायंस को दे दिया गया।
ऐसा भाई, अब आप उसकी ज़बरदस्ती उसको करना चाहो कि नहीं जी रिलायंस को उन्होंने दिया है, उसके सीईओ ने बोल दिया 10, तो अब आप उसके अंदर और क्या चीज़ बोलना चाहते हो? अब आप ज़बरदस्ती कहो नहीं जी वो तो झूठ बोल रहा है, तो इसके तो कोई जवाब नहीं है ना।
जितना मर्जी कोशिश कर ले ये सरकार, जितना मर्जी प्रधानमंत्री जी कोशिश कर ले, राफेल की सच्चाई तो आएगी ही आएगी। And to Eric Treppier I say, men may lie, but facts never lie.
Despite everything, people of India is absolutely solidly behind the NDA and the Honorable Prime Minister, because we have done whatever decision we have taken in line with the guidelines, DPP guidelines, and followed every process steps which needed to be followed, and in the interest of the nation and the security system and the national security, which Rahul Gandhi and team is hell-bent to compromise.
So the Supreme Court will not go into the aspect of the prices of the aircraft as of now, but it did raise very pertinent questions on the offset policy and on the procedures that were followed. Joining me now on the broadcast, Air Marshal Vinod Bhatia, former Air Officer Commanding in Chief, Western Air Command, twice decorated Veer Chakra pilot. He's with me on the broadcast. Pawan Khera represents the Congress, Gaurav Bhatia represents the BJP. My first question is to India Today's legal correspondent, Anisha Mathur. Anisha, why was the Indian Air Force called in to the Supreme Court, and was the IAF able to explain the urgency for the acquisition of 36 Rafale jets?
Well, Gaurav, the reason why the Supreme Court decided to call in the Air Force officials was that the court was very clear that they do not want to hear from the bureaucrats exactly what has been happening. They wanted to know the urgency because the government has been taking the stand that this deal was conducted because there was an urgent critical requirement of the Air Force. Interestingly, when the senior officials of the Air Force came in, including the Deputy Chief of Air Staff as well as the commander of the Eastern Command, they have told the Supreme Court very clearly that there has been no acquisition of new jets from abroad since 1985, which was the Mirage 2000 acquisition deal.
Very interesting. Stay with me for a moment, and on that aspect I want to bring in Air Marshal Bhatia. Air Marshal Bhatia, were Mirages the last aircraft to be purchased by Indian Air Force in the mid-1980s by Government of India, or did the Sukhois and perhaps the MiG-29 air superiority fighters not come in after the Mirages?
Well, as you know, in the 1980s, the Mirages had come in, and at about the same time, the MiG-29s were also inducted. And all this was done because Pakistan had been given the F-16 aircraft at that time. These were, as you can see, initially they had bought 2 squadrons each of these aeroplanes, and they were also buys which were necessitated, as I said, because of the F-16. But to say that they were the last aircraft to have been acquired by the IAF would not be correct.
Yes.
Because in the 1990s, late 1990s, Indian Air Force also acquired the Su-30, which were later converted onto MKIs. And as you are aware, that today we are going in for about 270 of these aircraft in about 13 squadrons, which will be part of the frontline fighter squadrons in the Indian Air Force.
Oh, absolutely. Pawan Khera, does the Supreme Court, not going into the aspect of pricing for now, blunt the political offensive against the government?
No, not at all. Our questions remain the same. Our questions are 3 or 4 major questions: the procedure, the pricing, the fact that you reduce the numbers from 126 to 36, the fact that different prices come from your ministers, does announce, declare the price, Anil Ambani reveals the price, but for the country to know the price, the Prime Minister hides behind the so-called mythical secrecy clause. There are 18 articles in that pact they are referring to. Not one article deals with secrecy as far as the pricing is concerned. Nobody wants the government to reveal the avionics and the configurations, but definitely the price is something we need to know. Offset policy. Why was the DPP tweaked in August of 2015? Why on earth the Prime Minister calls Anil Ambani, this is Anil Ambani saying it, I am not saying it, that the Prime Minister called me and asked me to get into the defense sector.
Okay.
Why on earth
Gaurav
would the Prime
Bhatia,
Minister do that? This
Gaurav
is
Bhatia.
oligarchy of the... Let me finish.
Yes.
Anil Ambani registers a company 12 days before he accompanies the Prime Minister to Paris. He gets land a year and a half later.
Sir, let's take this step by step, sir. You've raised some very pertinent points.
Can I comment?
Let's take this step by step. And Gaurav Bhatia, government admitted that the offset clause was tweaked by the NDA. Why was the offset clause changed in 2015? The opposition attack is that this was done to benefit Anil Ambani and his company, sir.
Gaurav, first of all, I would like to start by saying, and you would agree with me, that once the Supreme Court is seized with the matter and they have reserved the judgment, I think propriety demands that we should wait for the Supreme Court verdict. And I think as a hallmark of transparency, this government has shown how it has shared all the information with the Honorable Supreme Court in a sealed cover. This itself inspires confidence. But what worries me and every citizen of the country the most, and this was also discussed in the Supreme Court today, that very senior officers from the Indian Air Force had to make a remark that since 1985, mainly because of the policy paralysis that had set in during the UPA-1, UPA-2, no fighter aircrafts were acquired. So I would say that, you know, when a senior Air Force officer makes a statement that it is critical that we acquire fighter jets, 5th generation fighter jets, because otherwise it would be difficult to defend the country, I think the blame squarely lies with the Congress. Second, the question that everyone is asking, for 10 years, why couldn't the Congress finalize the agreement with Narendra Modi ji so efficiently, could do in 17 months, that too government to government deal without any middlemen, which is the hallmark of the Congress government. Third and most importantly, on
let me get a quick response. Let me get a quick response from Pawan Khera. I'll come back to you, sir. Let me get a quick response from Pawan Khera. Pawan Khera, is there merit in the government saying that the UPA government was unable to acquire any aircraft in 10 years being in power, and that critically affected the country's defense preparedness?
Gaurav, you are an expert yourself on defense matters. I can't educate you. You can educate everybody else. The Air Force took 4 to 5 years in comparing 6 different aircraft on 643 parameters. Obviously, they will take time, and I'm glad they took time. After that, we finalized the tender on 12th December 2012. After that, the BJP, which was in opposition then, asked about the life cycle cost. Mr. Antony, the then defense minister, accepted their questions, referred those questions to the Cabinet Committee on Securities, but said the negotiations will go on. Then we lost the election. They say there is an urgency. I agree there is an urgency. They say our requirements are there. Yes, I agree. Why did you reduce from 126 to 36? 10 years, I'm sorry, that's a bogus argument meant to confuse people. Sorry,
can I
respond? Which will cut any
Sir, quickly, but let me quickly bring in Air Marshal Bhatia. I will come back to you on this aspect.
Sorry, Gaurav.
Yes.
Gaurav, one more line, please.
Go ahead, sir.
Just one more line. If the Prime Minister had gone and finalized the 126 jets deal on 10th April 2015, the 18 flyaway aircrafts would have been here by now. The last would have come in April 2019.
Okay.
Where is the urgency?
Air Marshal Bhatia,
please let me know.
Okay, Air Marshal Bhatia, since you know the inside track of these developments, Air Marshal Bhatia, was that possible? Was that possible to bring it for Prime Minister Narendra Modi to conclude the deal for 126 aircraft? Or because of the deadlock, was an intergovernmental agreement required? Was it needed? Air Marshal Bhatia.
You know, I would like to take you back. It was in January 2012 when the Rafale was declared the winner. After that, it took more than 3.5 years, and the net result was an impasse because the entire deal which was being negotiated could not come through at all. So the reasons are well known to everybody for me to say anything on that. But the fact of the matter is that the impasse was there, and something that we had started in 2001, in 2014 was still floating in the air. The urgency was there because Indian Air Force was losing squadrons. We were down to, as you know, we are down to about 31 squadrons right now, out of the approved 42 squadrons. So there was an urgency, and there was only one way of doing it, that is to get into an intergovernmental agreement.
Okay.
That kind of a contract.
Okay.
And,
but was the government, Anisha?
The 36 aeroplanes which were ordered was like an emergency buy.
Can I come in, please, Gaurav?
Yes. Gaurav Bhatia, you must come in, but just quickly, Anisha, was the government able to explain the offsets partner selection, where the government apparently said that they had no role to play in the offsets partner selection?
Well, Gaurav, these are two questions that the government could not clearly answer in the Supreme Court. One, that how did this offsets, the rule regarding offset partners change? When was it changed? How was it changed? And the court, in fact, asked more than once. The CJI specifically said, you're not answering my question. When the format says, the earlier format said that you have to give the details of the offset partner, then how was this rule changed? And what happens now if the offset partner runs away or does does not fulfill their obligations. The government, of course,
Interesting.
saying that what will happen now is that if the contract does not get through, it is a weapons manufacturer who will have to pay the penalty. But the court did not seem very satisfied with this particular explanation.
That
Gaurav.
aspect about sovereign guarantee, and Gaurav Bhatia, since you're a lawyer yourself, sir, please do explain to us that no sovereign guarantee with France, that 50% will be invested in India, and terms of intergovernmental agreements, sir, they were tweaked.
No, Gaurav, let me come in, and I speak as a lawyer with some responsibility. I was present in the court. I would say let's wait for the court verdict, because Honorable the Chief Justice of India had also remarked that as of now, the stage of looking into pricing and other things have not come up. We are on the procedural path that has been followed by the government, and an additional secretary from the Ministry of Defence officer was present there to explain that it is Dassault, under the government to government agreement, that will take a call on the Indian offset partner. My point is broader, that there are more than 72 Indian offset partners. Why is it that one company is being singled out? Can Rahul Gandhi bring out in public domain two agreements? One, the agreement where they have actually finalized the deal and 126 jets are being procured. And second, the agreement which shows that HAL was selected as the Indian offset partner. And look at the difference between the BJP government and the Congress government, that the deal had started in 2002. Mr. Pawan Kheda is not right. Say if it was finalized in 2012 also, they still had more than 24 to 30 months. Whereas in 17 months, Narendra Modi ji could finalize the deal. They
Pawan
sat
Kheda
over the deal, probably expecting commission from Dassault. And that has been the hallmark of the Congress.
That's an allegation you are
wherever
leveling, and I
there
will
is a
get the
defense
Congress
deal,
party to
they
respond
have
to
to
that.
ask for their commission.
Okay, Pawan Kheda, please respond. So, the UPA government, according to Gaurav Bhatia, may have been trying a great deal, but it wasn't going ahead. There was a deadlock, sir. So, at least this government, according to him, was able to achieve what many were describing was mission impossible.
Not according to me. These are facts
Gaurav,
that have been placed before the Supreme Court, Gaurav.
Fair enough, sir. Mr. Kheda.
Gaurav, I'll stick to the facts and I wouldn't resort to allegation and rhetoric. Having said that, I want to know if Trappier, sitting with the chairman of HAL, holds a press conference 10 days before the Prime Minister visits Paris and says we have resolved our differences, 95% of our negotiations are over, remaining 5% I hope that this visit or subsequently will get over. This is not my comment, this is Trappier's interview. No, I'm not saying it. Number two, in 2002, the requirement, the specification, everything, the Indian Air Force changed, updated, upgraded in 2004 and 5.
2007.
And then on, they took time to compare different technologies, as I said, on 643 parameters. Don't mislead the country. If you don't have a response, keep quiet, but let's not lie. This is a matter of national
Can I respond?
You must respond to
security.
this,
No,
and
please,
also on the aspect, Gaurav Bhatia.
Let me finish. Anil Ambani's company.
Who is misleading the country,
Yes,
Gaurav? I asked this question. I think there is only one person who has jeopardized national security.
Sir, one by one, please.
Another fact.
No, please, Pawanji.
Gentlemen,
Gaurav,
one by
please
one,
come.
please.
Gaurav,
Let
Gaurav,
Mr. Kheda
can
complete.
you ask
Mr. Bhatia,
allow
coming
me
to you in
make a
precisely
rebuttal,
30
please?
seconds.
There is one
no,
person.
he's angry. Let him
Gaurav, you will have to
ask him
intervene
to
and
calm
ask
down.
him to be
Let me just
a
put
little
one
more
more fact.
courteous.
One
He
more
got
fact. One more fact.
It's my
Please
time
calm
to
down.
respond.
Don't be
Let me
angry.
respond.
Don't get angry.
Please.
Don't get angry.
No,
Let me just give you
calm
one more
down
fact.
and tell Mr. Rahul Gandhi not to be a confused Gandhi. Mr.
You talk
Confused
about
Gandhi
Rahul
doesn't
Gandhi for
even
10 minutes
know
after
the
this.
real price of
You
the
talk about
Rafale
Rahul
deal
Gandhi
that he struck.
for 20 minutes after
You know,
this.
he has been
Let's deal
quoting
with facts
7
first.
different prices. So
Gaurav,
tell Mr. Confused
Gaurav,
Rahul Gandhi what the actual price
One
is.
by one,
Gaurav,
And he has been jeopardizing
Okay,
national security,
asking-
Pawanji.
Gaurav Bhatia,
Why
facts-based
couldn't you answer
questions.
for 10
at
years
the response.
what stopped you
They
from
expose
actually
themselves.
finalizing
Okay.
the
They
agreement?
expose themselves.
Why did Mr.
Okay,
Rahul
look
Gandhi
at gentlemen,
not
both of
present
you.
the facts
Okay,
and
just take a
evidence if he had
little
any
break, gentlemen,
before
because
the
you believe
Honorable
this?
Supreme
Let me
Court?
just
We
go to
are
my colleague
asking
Anisha
specific
Mathur for a
questions
30-second.
based on facts
Was the government
and this
able
is
to
the response.
explain What
This is the
happens
response.
if the offset
Ask
partner
Mr. Rahul
runs
Gandhi
away
if
and does
he
not
has any
manufacture
iota of
the offsets that they're meant
to
to
actually
do
manufacture, Alisha?
and file
Why
a
on earth?
petition.
Well, see,
Why-
the-
Gentlemen, give it 30 seconds. Gentlemen, give it 30 seconds. Otherwise, nobody will be able to hear anything.
What is it?
Anisha, quickly.
Well, the
And I
issue
think
is that the court also asked that this, and this was asked more than once by the court as well as the petitioners, that did the government bypass the criteria that have been set out with regard to entering into an intergovernmental agreement in the first place? The second question
Okay.
that again the government could not answer to the satisfaction of the court is that what will happen if the offset partner does not fulfill its obligations, and how is it that the defense deal was signed with the government not being aware of exactly who the offset partners actually are. So this is something that the government will have to answer, because the court has also raised this question.
Now they reserve their order, but Air Marshal Bhatia, the court also asked that was a technical evaluation done if the NDA deal aircraft had enhanced avionics, weapons and equipment. Sir, was another technical evaluation required for an NDA deal, a different technical evaluation of the enhanced equipment and weapons?
I'd like to flag 2-3 points. But first, to give you your answer, certainly not. The technical evaluation had already been done. And if there were some add-ons, they were specific to Indian Air Force requirements.
Okay.
So there was no requirement to carry out additional technical evaluation. Now, coming down to the two controversies that have arisen, one is on the pricing and the other one is on the offsets. I would like to flag that, first of all, the first deal of 126 aircraft never came to fruition.
Yes.
So there is no question of pricing, because the pricing was never finalized. The deal was never finalized.
Fair enough.
I'm given to understand that it has come out in the press that the initial deal was approximately 19 to 20 billion euros. But if that was for 126 aeroplanes, and the new one for 36 aircraft is around 7.5 billion euros, which is about 1/3 the price. So I
But
don't see there is much difference.
That
here.
would be absolutely
Number
right.
two,
That's comparing
on the
apples and
offset.
oranges.
On
Air
the
Marshal,
offset,
I have run out of time on this debate, but this is one issue.
With the price of 36.
We will continue to debate this. We will continue to discuss this very crucial issue, but the acquisition must continue, because the Indian Air Force cannot be without its aircraft to defend our borders and our skies. I will let that be the last thing that we discuss on this show. Many thanks to all my guests for joining me. Before we wrap, I leave you with visuals of the GSLV Mark 111 carrying GSAT-29 satellite from Satish Dhawan Space Station at Sriharikota being launched. The GSAT-29 was successfully put in orbit by ISRO.
+3, +4, +5 seconds.
Vehicle to solid stop on boosters S200 successfully lifted off.
Thanks for watching the video. For more such news and updates, please like, share and subscribe to India Today. Also check out our other great videos from our channel. We know you will love to.